putting in long hours at work may not be paying off in terms of your health. A study conducted in the UK of 6,000 workers over an 11-year period found those who worked 10 to 11 hours a day regularly are 60% more likely to develop heart problems. Those who occasionally work 1 to 2 hours of overtime showed no increased risk.
I've worked with nurses who work more than 365 days in a row and make over $800,000 per year. Work is life for them.
At this rate, she is also bringing in $828,308 per year with no vacation.
But in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly why I haven't picked up a single hour of overtime in over a year and why you need to start reevaluating your life if you're working too many hours. But first, I'm going to tell you exactly why I worked so much overtime to begin with. Monica and I were in a serious amount of debt. We had accumulated over $128,000 of debt by the time the pandemic reached the United States. And as I mentioned in previous videos, it took us 1 year to pay off that $128,000 because of all of the overtime we put in from 2020 to 2021. During those years, we wanted to reach a point in our lives where we no longer had to work an excessive number of hours in order to make a livable wage. And for those of you that know us, Monica and I love to travel. We've been to Iceland, the Maldives, New Zealand, and so many other amazing countries because of all of the money we earned from working overtime. And our net worth went from negative $80,000 as new grads to well over $600,000 today. But what did I learn and why did I stop working so much overtime? Many people who work a ton of overtime eventually come to the realization that they have missed out on a lot of the best things that life has to offer. And their health, both mental and physical, goes to I know that for me, at least, and probably many of you working overtime, you are not sleeping as much as you should. And your physical health is just as important as getting a decent amount of sleep every single night. According to a study of 22,330 adults from 13 countries published in Sleep Medicine, 1 in 3 participants had clinical insomnia symptoms and nearly 20% met the criteria for insomnia disorder. Sleep disturbances were linked to higher levels of psychological distress. Not getting enough sleep or poor quality of sleep can increase the risk of mental health disorders. Sleep problems can also contribute to the onset and worsening of different mental health problems, including depression and anxiety, and even suicidal ideation. And while there are certainly individual differences in the amount of sleep that each adult needs, the American Academy of Sleep Medicine recommends that adults sleep at least 7 hours on a regular basis to promote optimal health and functioning, with most adults needing somewhere between 7 to 9 hours. Although the amount of sleep that we get is important, good quality sleep is also essential. Sleep deprivation studies show that otherwise healthy people can experience increased anxiety and distress levels following poor sleep. Those with mental health disorders are even more likely to experience chronic sleep problems, and these sleep problems are likely to exacerbate psychiatric symptoms and even increase risk for suicide. So, when we had our son during the pandemic, I realized that being there for him and our family was much more important than the number of overtime hours I was clocking in to reach our financial independence number. I remember coming home and only getting between 2 to 4 hours of sleep on a regular basis. This is not sustainable for anyone. During this time, I went from easily making around $4,000 to $5,000, even $6,000 every 2 weeks while working fewer than 40 hours per week, but still picking up extra hours on my days on at work, to reducing my scheduled hours to 20 hours per week and not picking up a single overtime shift in over 1 year. And if you guys have been following us long enough, then you probably remember the video I made about working 18 days in a row. I also came into work from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. I did the same thing on Thursday and I did the same thing on Friday, earning $196 per hour. Or you might remember the posts I made about working another 16 days in a row. Yep, that was our life for a few years here in California. We were making such good money doing it. I recall one month where Monica and I make around $30,000. And I also made a switch that year that my son was born to focus on growing our wealth in ways that a job could never deliver on. And with that, our website was launched on the same day our YouTube channel was monetized. Doing that gave us the flexibility that we were never given and will never be able to achieve as W-2 employees. And you know what? Last month, Monica had all of her shifts canceled at work. For those of you who don't know or do not remember, she is a per diem employee. She puts in her availability for the shifts she wants to work, and her employer will approve the shifts for the days that they need her the most. And so, in February, they had approved all of the shifts that she had requested for the month of March. But a few days before she was scheduled to work those shifts, they called her and they canceled every single shift. This was another valuable lesson for us that I had already experienced in the past when I was laid off from 2 of my previous jobs during the recession of 2008. You put in all of these hours at work, but before you know it, your job could be swept from right under you. Life is more important than the time you put in at work. Next time you go to work, take a look around you. How many of the nurses you worked with years ago are no longer around? We are all quickly forgotten, but family will always remember you. And to me, that's what's the most important. So, what is most important to you?